G'day and welcome to the Ball Boys AFL Fantasy Live Show, and this is definitely the first time I've done this recording, and we are going to be previewing round 17, talking big boys, talking your questions, and talking about what to do with fish. Let's go!
Hodge has done it from nowhere. Blasting the goal from inside the centre. Sheed from the boundary. Dusty.
G'day and welcome again to the Ball Boys AFL Fantasy Podcast. I'm your host, Mitch Casey, and I am joined once again by Luke Rogerson. And, mate, just another Friday afternoon on the Ball Boys Live Show, huh?
Oh, it's pretty standard for us. There's an awkward moment too where we've got to talk for like 30 seconds before the live stream catches up, so we can actually hear whether we fucked it up or not. So, I don't know. It was just the old
turn it off and turn it back on trick.
Well, yeah, big tech guys that we are. We are all over it like a rush on a hooker, mate. But
nothing changed. Should we just turn it off, turn it back on?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we're potentially good now, so we can talk some fantasy.
All right, let's go. Sorry about that, guys. Although, you know, maybe I've got a career in autotune after that, I reckon.
You're pretty good, mate.
Me and T-Pain.
Dead mouse. I thought you put the head on. You were good, mate. I reckon.
Take a shirt off.
I think at this stage, like if people tune in and listen to us, they know that they've just got to. We have a mulligan every now and then. So
yeah, look, we've been all right recently with this new software, but. You know, got to keep us on our toes. Got to keep us going. But let's talk about some fantasy footy.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to you straight away about one thing. Obviously, we're recording this a little bit later, and the 5 o'clock teams have dropped.
Yeah.
Guess who's been omitted from the St Kilda team?
You lucky boy.
Tommy Campbell. Yeah. If this man is a late in for the third fucking time in a row, I'm going to be throwing some hands.
Ross the Boss likes to play games, mate. So
I was all ready to trade him this week, but it looks like, I don't know, Ron Marshall lives again.
Well, you only traded him in last week as well.
No, I know, yes. But if Tom Campbell comes in, I swear to God. But yes, what else have we got for the team reactions?
Well,
there?
obviously
the one out straight
big one, and you mentioned it off the top, is the fish.
Mm-hmm.
He is out, so that's going to be sort of what everyone's looking to deal with this week.
Good that we know.
Yeah.
Because obviously you've got an option playing tonight in Jai Caldwell.
Yep. If you.
But ruled him out. No, question marks like Bonds last week. So we can sort of just plan accordingly.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a bit more detail in a bit. But then coinciding with that is Colby's back, so that's the kind of straight swap for North Melbourne. So interesting to see. He obviously comes back.
What are your thoughts about Colby McKercher as a trade-in?
Look, I actually don't hate it. I was doing some real aggressive, angry sort of mouse stuff this afternoon with my team, and I was even ditching.
Sam, don't. Sam's put this super chat in here, and he's just putting this into the universe.
$2. Here we go, Campbell.
Come on, mate.
Into fuck you over.
Sorry, go on.
LDU was even parting ways for McKercher because my team's Cactus, so I thought we were getting really, really aggressive, banking some cash. Anyway, we're getting into too much detail. This is just off the top team reactions.
Yeah.
Sullivan, if anyone's still running around with Sullivan, you can cash him in now. He's been omitted. You may have already done that.
Yep.
Witsy out, which is influential for Sherry owners and non-Sherry owners because he is a tough matchup, but no longer.
Yes. I mean, it was part of the reason why I traded out Tristan Sherry because he was going to go up against Wits and then Grundy 2 weeks in a row. Now, he's coming up against Mole. And, it's definitely an improvement on his matchup. I think he's not as much of a pushover as he was maybe in previous years, but still definitely much more positive than Wits. And Max King is another one that is out, and more so for Rowan Marshall. Now, the players coming in for St Kilda, let me read these out. So we've got Dougal Howard, Ryan Burns, Mateus Philippou, Tim Membry, and Ben Patton. So there's no other ruckman really there at all. You've got King, Caminiti, and Campbell all coming out. Who are their tools for that team? Is it... They had Cooper Sharman, I think, was playing as the sub. He's a bit of a taller player. Is Membry basically their key forward?
Yeah, I mean, you can play with a small forward line. So I think that Marshall's now going to play predominantly ruck if Campbell doesn't play.
Has to, yeah. There's no one else. Yeah.
Unless they pull that late in rubbish, but we'll see. And finally, it's irrelevant now, but it's just so good to see the Bonner no longer in that St Kilda team.
The Boner's gone limp. Finally, he's no more.
It's only 10 weeks after we needed it.
Yeah. Look, I know there's other people out there that agree with me, but he sucks, man.
Oh, wow. You're so mean, man.
He's not good. I don't know
dude.
why he lasted so long in that team, especially when they've got so many other good options that do the same thing as what he supposedly does. But anyway, I digress. If you have him, obviously you're trading him, but probably he was traded out a while ago. Now, you've got a big matchup in the Content Creators Cup this week, coming up against one of the top coaches.
Bales is in red hot form.
Bales the beater, as he likes to be called.
Bales the beater. Well, only in private, I've heard. But I think he'll be beating me this week. No doubt in the world. So he's been in a red hot vein of form, and I've been struggling. So I'll do my best. But
I have. I've got the Warn Dogs coming up this week.
Warney's going all right.
He's going all right. Yeah, he's
absolutely
trucking along there. Obviously, we both had the Zach Fisher thing to deal with. So we'll see how that thing goes. Always good to go up against one of the traders and see how things fare. But Infinite Wealth is the sponsor of that Content Creators Cup, so make smarter financial decisions by getting a free gift valued at $2,995 at infinitewealth.com.au/AFL Fantasy. Go and claim it if you haven't already. It is definitely worth your while. We've got a couple of super chats we might get stuck into first.
Read me that top one. What do we got going on?
Sexton to Colby and Fisher to Caldwell, or Rookie Clark, so that's Jai Clark, who was also dropped, I believe, to Humphreys, and Fisher to Caldwell. So Sexton to Colby, I guess, is the question there. Do you make points doing that? I think is what I would ask.
See, this is I might not answer this question directly, but I think that the difference in our two teams actually can lend itself to the podcast a little bit, because where my mind's going this week is nowhere near where your mind would be going, and our two different teams are in really different spots. So, I know you turn your nose up at Colby McKercher coming back off a significant injury. You know, he hasn't played any footy in a little bit, and a few things changed around at North Melbourne there. But for me, I look at this as, hey, well, my team's shit. I'm at a ranking that is, not where I want to be anyway. So why don't I get aggressive with something like this?
Fisher being out and him replacing him directly makes me more enthusiastic about it. I've always just been super concerned about a rookie coming back into a side that has no aspirations on, winning too many games.
The ball's going to be down there, but
the ball's going to be down there.
To compete with.
And that's fine, but it's still like people are all super keen on him on the back of 3 games. 3 games where he had 90s and 100s.
In the role that we see as a friendly fantasy role.
Absolutely.
But is it I'm looking at it from perspective
is he going to outscore Sexton, who's got the very similar role to him, who's not coming off a stress fracture in his foot?
I don't think Sexton does have that similar role to him anymore. The role that we're in, if people are trading McKercher, they're anticipating the half-back role with no competition. She's will play in midfield.
Does he get his time managed? Before he was injured, he went 89, 81, 88% time on ground.
Yeah, I 100%. There's flags everywhere. Like, there's flags popping out of it, like the summit of Everest. But the thing is like, we're looking at it from 2 very different perspectives. You're never going to entertain that because of where you're ranked.
What would you say? I mean, but this person's obviously, I think you're not, I wouldn't trade Sexton because I think there's a chance that Sexton outscores Colby this week. And if you can make the trade by a rookie down, you're not affecting your points on the field. So you're getting the upgrade. The upgrade is still to Caldwell regardless. Yep. So I guess it comes down to, do you think Sexton is going to outscore Colby? Plus, Sexton's sitting in your forward line. So I don't know how you're getting there. Now, I do think Sexton does have to go probably in the next couple of rounds.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Colby's the answer. I think if you're getting the trade regardless, if it's your only way to get the upgrade, then I tick it off. In
some ways too, there's like as sad as it sounds, I actually need to generate some fucking cash because he's got a break even of 23. We expect him to come out in that role, and I would hope that he goes 80 plus Colby, in that role. So, and I've got guys all over the field that are hemorrhaging cash, and I need cash because I've got guys like Tuke Miller. It's going to cost me $300,000 to get Tuke Miller to anyone that I even like in the midfield or someone like this. So. We're coming at it from different perspectives. I think it makes for good discussion at least.
I want to talk about that a bit more, but we've got a few questions to keep answering. What is the next one?
Jared's got one for you. So, hey guys, rookie down and fish up to Walsh or Powell to McKercher and fish to Moore, Rankin, Myers, or
So it's
Stewart.
a similar kind of thing. So, Powell to McKercher. Now, Powell, I think, is a bit of a different story because he is scoring essentially like a rookie.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Fish's role is much more friendly. Sexton's.
You're talking about McKercher? Powell to McKercher?
Yes. Sorry, I might have read that question wrong. Rookie down and Fish up to Walsh, or Powell to McKercher and Fish to Moore. So you're either trading a rookie out or Powell out. I think Powell's got to get out of your side.
Yeah.
So I think I'm more okay with that because you're getting rid of Powell as opposed to the previous question where you're getting rid of Sexton. So I think I'd probably go the second one. Because there's every chance that Walsh gets a heavy tag this week as well. Because he's coming up against... who are they playing? They're playing the Giants. So I think Bedford pretty likely goes to him.
Walsh.
Yeah. Unless they go to Cripps, but I'd say he matches up better with a Walsh. So I'd probably go second one there.
All right, last sneaky super chat here before we talk some targets. So it's a big boy question. For you, mate. Sherry or Goulden as the VC?
Tristan Sherry... it's got to be Goulden. The only thing I will say, Goulden plays on the Sunday. So who are you going into the captaincy with?
You can't VC. Well, can you VC Goulden? Is he the last game?
You can't VC Goulden because he's 320. The next game's at 410. So you're not going to have a fair idea of what he's going to score before the Brisbane-Adelaide game starts. So I guess if it's a VC, it's Tristan Sherry out of those two. I'm not a fan of VCing a score and not knowing the final result. Say you're going to have a half-time score or a three-quarter time score because we've seen anything happen. Like someone score nothing in the fourth quarter, someone go absolutely huge in the fourth quarter and those kind of things. So, I want to see a full game before I know whether I'm taking my VC or not. So,
okay, beautiful.
All right, let's talk about some trade targets. Now, the focus of the trade targets, I think, this round is going to be in that forward line. Most of us have Zach Fisher. So we want to flick it over here, Luke. I've got a little bit of a graphic here, not like last week.
This never happens. That's just... let me just cue up our cool transition.
Yeah, heaps cool. So I think there is...
Heaps cool.
The big four.
The big four.
If you don't have the big four, this is your ticket to getting them.
Yeah.
If you don't have, and the big four, for those uninitiated.
Okay.
In this order, I think is the right order. Jai Caldwell. I think he is the number one target. If you don't have him, you've got to get him. His break-even's 50.
Oh, okay, from that perspective.
So you've got to have all these four. He's going to be the hardest to get. He's going to be harder and harder each week.
Yeah.
Then I think it's Flanders.
Yep.
Zorko. Heaney last.
Okay.
Heaney's got the highest break-even. Potential tag risk. But those are the big four. You have to have those four. Get them in. This is your excuse. You cannot miss any of those. After that, this is where it gets tough. And because I have this order, I think every single one of these players has been in a different spot throughout the week for me, and I'm finding this very, very hard to split. So if you have a strong...
That's why I played the good strategy, mate. Didn't pick good players like Caldwell because I knew this was coming up. I want to make my life easy.
If I was just saying for the rest of the season,
Yep.
who's going to average the most, I would say Isaac Rankin.
Okay.
I think he's going to average the most for the rest of the season.
So you're ranking him one.
I'm ranking him last because...
Ranking.
Yes, I got the joke.
Oh, sorry.
I just chose to ignore it. Because I think in the next 2 rounds, he gets tagged.
Okay.
After what he did last week and Giants tried to tag Dawson, it didn't work. They released the tag at halftime. They lost the game. I think that he needs to be tagged, and I think Brisbane are going to do it with Berry because you've got someone like a Josh Dunkley to match up with a Dawson. I think that's a perfect matchup. They're much more similar in size. So I think that works. The next week, you've got the Windhager tag. I think Windhager is a perfect matchup for someone like an Isaac Rankin. So
that is like white on rice.
So for different teams, I think it's going to be different. If you're a team like yours, where you've got a bunch of different holes you still want to fix,
Yeah.
I would go Rankin first.
My team's like a sieve.
Cop the
I'm trying
first...
to plug holes front center.
Cop the maybe potential tag the next couple of weeks. Hope that it goes to Dawson so that you've at least got the guy that I think for the rest of the season is going to average the most. If you have a bit more room to be more lateral and fix things up over the next couple of weeks,
a rotating position.
I would be looking between either Dylan Moore and Brian Myers. Both have, funnily enough, a very similar role.
I think Dylan Moore has a better ceiling, in my opinion.
Dylan Moore has a better steering, and I've seen him do it for longer, is why I've got him ahead of a Grind Myers. They verse each other.
Yeah, obviously Geelong matchup this week. I think the Geelong matchup is more friendly than the Hawthorn matchup.
Yeah,
currently.
I think so.
And
He
then
gets
he goes
some CBAs too, whereas Myers is none. He's more wing than high half forward mid.
Yeah.
And on its day, it can be better, but I think consistently more. Yeah, I've just seen it longer. I've seen it more, and he has had 130s this year. He's had 120s. Now Myers has had 110s, but he's never gone above 120 this year.
This is a tough decision, mate.
But it's a fucking coin toss, and Grind Myers is about 50 to 60k cheaper. So,
jeez, I'm glad I'm not in this spot. I'd rather be ranked 2,500 and not have this decision.
I've been
where you are. You're an
sleepless
idiot, mate.
nights. Sleepless nights thinking
Why
about
would you
this.
choose to be ranked 4, mate, and
Yeah, I
have
don't
this
know.
decision to be made?
I don't
What
know.
an idiot. Just
It was more fun when I was ranked 7th.
Loser.
No, but yes, I don't know if there's a bad choice here. At least there might be in hindsight, but I believe if you can't afford or you can get another, if you can get a better trade on the other end, and you just want to go the cheapest one and go into Grind Myers, I would tick it off. I think this is really very much a coin flip between all three of these players. I will be likely going either Grind Myers or Dylan Moore because I have the ability to probably target an Isaac Rankin in the next couple of rounds. But yeah, there's every chance that they don't tag him and they go to Dawson instead and he goes nuts because he's looked really, really good. And I think he's going to be a 50% averaging midfielder. And I think in that role, he can be a 95 averaging player, which is a top 6 forward locked and loaded.
Correct me if I'm wrong, are there any situations, because North Melbourne play first game on Saturday, are there any situations where you could have a look at a rookie score and then move to like a DPP type setup? Like, is Richards, if you had Richards sitting on your bench?
Is he... Well, we don't know if he's the sub yet, right?
Yeah.
Potentially.
So, like, a bit of out-of-the-box thinking. So, let's say Richards he isn't the sub.
What would
he plays the full game.
what would you want him to score? In the forward line, it's probably
It's not as much. I think
75.
Yeah, I'd call 75. Let's call 75. Let's call it 80.
If you can get something really good
at the other end.
on the other end.
And that just buys you a week to then... Bit of out-of-the-box thinking
Good
by me,
thinking there.
mate.
Yeah.
Just call me Lupe Fiasco, mate.
Yeah. Do you have Richards?
Nope.
No, neither do I. So,
See, I think about other people, mate. You're just thinking about yourself.
I've got the big E on Nathan Kruger
Oh, well, mate.
tonight.
You're a red hot Jets.
Yeah, he can kick 5.
You are kissed too. He will too. You'll be crooing tonight, won't you?
All right. If you're shopping in other areas, so
Okay.
some different positions,
Right.
here are a few names that I really like in defence.
Can I stop you there before we did get a super chat that
Yes.
gave you a shout out before? So love your work, lads, and go Mitchman. So
Thank you. Much
Thanks for-
exceptions.
Thank you for that exceptions. Sorry we didn't shout you out before.
100%. Yeah. Anyone who's in the Mitchman corner, you're a friend of the show. Defence. Luke Ryan.
Defense.
I think if you trade him out, or if you didn't, I think you can trade him back in. I think he's going to go off. I really do. The fact that, what was the guy, the winger? Why am I blanking on the winger?
Who?
Freo.
For Freo.
Winger. Sharpie. Blunty. The fact that he went well
Not your best.
last week, as well as Luke Ryan, they were top 2 scorers for Freo,
Yeah.
gives me confidence that it's not a game-style shift that Freo have instigated. It's that the teams before last week's matchup were not letting them do that.
You and I would score 160 points against Richmond.
Oh, mate. You just have to go out
Mainly
there
because
and
we'd just be back and forth to each other. No one else see
we'd
the field.
count our stats
Oh,
in the thing. Yeah.
Trust me.
Now, whether or not there's a little bit of extra defensive response, but fuck, who's he defending, man? Who are our forwards that he's spending all this energy defending?
He's got big cocks now too. So...
Yeah, what about...
Cox?
Oh, right.
Oh,
Okay, so
you
fair enough.
sick puppy. What were you thinking about?
So I think he's going to be a really good trading target. The other one I'm really hot on, and is a chance to come into my team,
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm still processing this Campbell not
I thought you weren't
out.
revealing your secrets anymore, mate.
Well,
Didn't you just tell me off air you're going to lie to all of the viewers?
No, because I don't actually fucking know what I'm doing this week because I'm still processing this Tom Campbell
I
out
could have sworn
news.
you said that.
Didn't say that. Max Holmes.
Safe as houses, I've heard.
Safe as houses. When there's just shit going on around,
Yeah.
there's still
in the backyard.
there's still
And stuff.
8 weeks left in this season.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much time
That's
for...
a lot of weeks. There's one more than 7, one less than 9.
Wow, great maths. That's good. You should teach kids.
I don't even teach math.
Okay. Well, you've got a backup career there if you ever want to go away from... What do you teach?
Digital technologies.
Oh, wow, that sounds
Technology.
way smarter. Yeah, digital tech. Oh, my God.
Oh, mate, it's more
Why
like...
do we have technicals
Nah,
then,
bro,
mate?
it's more coding. It's more
Oh,
coding,
my
hacking and
God,
stuff.
well,
I hack into the system.
Code us a good fucking podcast, man. Jesus.
Not possible, mate. I'm not that good.
Oh, my God, that is irony right there. But yes.
How do you not know? We live next door. How do you not know what I teach?
I did know that. I just forgot. I don't know. I thought you were PE or something like that. Anyway, let's talk about Max Holmes. You've got 8 weeks left of the season. There's so much time for Luke Ryan to go up and down like, a yo-yo every single week to finish the season. Whereas Max Holmes, 90 to 110. He lives there. He loves it. And I think there's still a possibility. Just because we haven't seen it yet, there is still ceiling potential there. One of the things that I learnt last year, I had the call between going Cornelio and a McRae late in the year. McRae had hit some ceiling scores, but Cogs hadn't to that point. He was good. He had the better role.
Yeah.
And the week that I decided to go McRae, Cogs goes and hits a 140 and shows that ceiling that obviously he hadn't shown to that point.
Yeah.
But just because they haven't shown it doesn't mean it's not there if they have the role, if they have the ability. And I think that Max Holmes does. Plus, if you're looking for a cheap option, I do think that Tom Stewart is an excellent buy. I think just the fact that he played in the midfield, whether or not he goes there to start the game, the fact that they're willing to pull that trigger, finally, I mean, where was this 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
It just helps him get away from those taggers, which I think has been holding him back. Plus, they've got a good run. Even if it goes back to defence, Hawthorn and I think Collingwood in the next 2, which are great matchups for defenders. So either way, I think he's going to be solid.
What about middies?
Middies. Number 1 target, I think, is Caleb Sarong. You got to target that matchup. I know, similar sort of story. We haven't seen a ceiling score for a while. But he's been going off in the first halves, Luke. He's, what did he have, like 70 points in the first half last week? And then the tag went to him. I don't think that's happening at Richmond. Like,
No, I wouldn't.
even
have
if
thought
it
so.
does, he'd just laugh at the tag.
Yeah, and I think he went 130 against Richmond last time around.
140, I think. Yeah. So he's my
Happy
number one
days.
target. Number 2 is Tom Green as a cheap option.
Okay.
I like his run coming up. He finally put up a couple of good scores, back-to-back tons, so I like him. And number 3 is Josh Dunkley, which I think is going to be the popular trade-in target for mids. I think he's solid. I think he's good. His matchup this week is not as friendly.
No.
And if he starts doing some more defensive roles, I don't know how well that's going to be for his scoring, but he has West Coast the following week. So the run's solid. Sydney the week after, which is a bit tougher.
Yeah.
But we've seen a big score.
I think we
And
have.
I think a lot of people will jump at that. But remember, you don't get that score when you trade them in. Now, I listed the Rucks because I was going to indulge myself.
It's the selfish podcast
when I was
today.
trading Rowan Marshall. But I want to get your thoughts on this guy anyway.
Yeah.
The top guy on this list here, Tim English. His run over the next 3 weeks is very juicy. Very, very juicy. And I had a bit of help digging into some stats today. I went to the master of stats. I went to a friend of the show, he's been on the show before, Jaden Popowski.
Oh, yeah. That was one of my best bits of gear.
To talk about English and his stoppage scoring.
Yeah, okay.
The last five, Bulldogs stoppages are way up compared to the start of the season. Last year, they averaged 102 stoppages per game. So far this season, they're averaging like 95, but in the last 5, they're back to averaging 102. Now, we haven't seen huge scores from English yet, but with the good run coming up, the higher stoppages in the last 5, I think the tides are turning for a Tim English.
Who are you trading off, but like other than your situation where you were nervous about Marshall and you're in a ridiculously good position where you can actually think
well, the
about
Marshall
it.
thing blows that all up because I don't think you're probably
So
trading.
you're not
him
trading
now.
off Marshall. You're not trading off Max. You're not trading off Sherry at the moment.
No, but it's
Who
something
else does
maybe to
people
watch for next week if you want to get off a Sherry against a Sydney, or we see Tom Campbell again. It might just be a watch this week because he's going to be cheap. He's $8.90.
Yeah.
You actually make a decent amount of cash going Sherry to him. Which is something, if we said at the start of the season, you'd be like,
pretty
hell
crazy.
yeah, I'll do that. So I thought that was just an interesting observation.
Yep.
And then we talked about the forwards earlier. So those are my main targets. I'm sure there's some other options, including like Colin McCoach that we'll talk about later. But
How about we talk about some super chats here before we
what
jump
about-
into your big boys, mate. So, Sam, appreciate the super chat, mate. I'll read his question out. Which option do I go for? Option 1 is Simpkin and Fisher to Rosie and one of either McKercher or Stewart.
okay, I like Stewart
Okay.
there, but go on.
Option 2 is Harrison and Fisher to Humphreys and Rosie.
Harrison and Fisher to Humphreys and Rosie.
So Harrison to Humphreys is obviously happening on your Pine. So it's a Fisher to Rosie. And then the interesting bit that I'm sort of thinking about here is like, who's covering your forward line then? Because that's a DPP.
Yeah. Well, it'd be
little
Simpkin,
swivel,
right?
isn't
It'd be Simpkin, maybe he's in his midfield or something like that because he's going
Okay.
Simpkin to Rosie. I think I like the first one there. I think
Okay.
that's 2 upgrades. I think Simpkin to Rosie is an upgrade. Obviously, Fisher to Stewart. I like that. So
Yeah.
in that instance, I think both points, they're both gaining points.
And you'd go to Stewart there as well.
Yeah, I'd go Stewart over McKercher.
Okay, cool. And Kang's also got a question. Can I keep Sexy and Simpkin as my F5 and F6? Okay, already got the big 4.
Yep.
And prioritise getting uber mids like Dunks and Gould and PS. Mitch should get custom plates kissed for the highlights.
That would actually be so
That would be
epic.
so cool. Here you go. If you win the highlights, I'll buy you personalised plates if they're available.
Yep.
Kissed. That's locked in. Locked in.
That'd be pretty epic, actually. Don't think I'll have to worry about that because there's other people more kissed than me, Luke.
No, incorrect. False. I actually really like this question because the question, I suppose, is saying, hey, can I maybe potentially take a haircut on this like roulette style F5, 6 stuff and just say I'm spending my money on big dogs. I want Dunkley instead of LD Useless, or I want
Because this person would, or other people in this situation would have someone like a Simpkin in their mids or someone in their mids already and they're flicking them to the forward line. So yes, I think that I would do that and then potentially wait a week and get Rankin off his tag games as a more surefire thing. So I do think we also need to just be a little bit aware. There was talk about Lockie Weller for Gold Coast coming back in round 19, that he's going to come straight back in and not play too much in the VFL. I think that's an expiration date for Sexton. I think we've all got to start to have plans on getting him out because we might be forced to. But I think this week it'll be fine. The fact that Flanders has gone back into the mid, I think, helps him as well.
All right, just keep an eye. Well, mate, we've come to that time. You got your goggles ready?
Got me goggles ready. Let's do it.
Mate. Give him hell.
Woo! Let's talk some big boys. All right. Now, I'm not going to break any breaking news today, but the Richmond matchup, it's the best matchup going around in fantasy footy right now. For mids, for defenders, it doesn't matter.
Just show up.
Just show up. You got fantasy tons. Caleb Serong is my number one big boy.
Okay.
Now, I know he has not been setting the world on fire, but this man has a ceiling. Just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not there. He scored 160 this year.
Are you worried about the fact... Sorry, I'm jumping in early on the big boys today, but are you worried about the fact that like last time we saw Luke Ryan go... It was 150. We saw Serong go 140, and we even saw Brayshaw, who hadn't been scoring that well, go 130.
Yep. Hayden Young went 125.
So I get it, like there's scoring galore, but are you afraid that maybe one of those other guys just gets it and Serong doesn't get it this week?
I think this matchup is good enough that they could all get it.
Okay.
Think about last week. Newman 140, Walsh 130. He sat on the bench the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Cripper 120.
Yeah, okay.
They all feast. There's enough to go around.
It's crazy.
There's that many points. So I think Caleb Serong, he's their best midfielder. He plays high time on ground, high CVAs. He's thirsty. He's been tagged the last couple of weeks.
Someone just checked PPQ and Kist is available.
Yes! Okay.
How early do I get on a pre-order?
Hold on.
That would be the ultimate Moz.
Ultimate Moz.
Let me jump on right now.
Gosh, Jesus Christ, guys. Let's all chill
I'll put it on lay-by.
Oh, my God. Just let's calm. 8 weeks, guys. There's 8 weeks. Far out. Anyway, Max Gawn is at number 2.
You told me before the podcast you were guaranteed to win the Hilux, man.
I did nothing of the sort. You stop putting that out there. Oh, my days. Jesus. Big boys here, Luke. Big boys.
Sorry.
Max Gawn, he's a big boy.
He is a large boy.
He's coming off a shit game. This will put a lot of people off. The thing that probably puts me off more is what happened when he versed West Coast last time. But
going to bring that up.
I went back to that one, and weirdly, I'm trying to find which game it was, but weirdly, there was he actually rucked a lot less than most other games. His ruck contest compared to most games was lower, probably because he was getting pushed around because was it Lever? Someone else was chopping him out a bit. It was super random. Hold on, I'm going to have to find this somewhere whenever they've played them, but anyway.
For the flow of the big boys.
For the flow of the big boys. We'll keep going. But anyway, I think he's going to... That teammate is out, and there's no one else there to chop out any ruck from him.
Okay.
And there's no Flynn. He's out. So I think he's going to have a field day, and it's at the MCG. Last game was at Optus Stadium, and the matchups against rucks are very positive for him. And he's still the number one averaging player in the game. Let's not forget this. So I'm going to back him in. Number 3 is Zach Merritt tonight. So if you're looking for a Friday night VC, I think Merritt is my guy. He's probably the safest, no tag or anything like that from Collingwood. Errol Goulden as number 4. He's been as high as number 2 for me. I find it very difficult to categorize Errol. Do I treat him like an inside mid? Do I treat him like a winger? Do I treat him
Harrison Petty
like a defender? Petty was the one. He had a lot of ruck contests last time, and he's not in the team this week, so there's no one else really to do anything there. So, read out how many ruck contests did he attend compared to Max?
I don't have those numbers. Is it in advance? Is it?
It should be. What round is it in? I can pull it up.
It was round 10. Round
10. So, yeah, he had... This is excellent flow for a podcast. But it's relevant. We need to know. Okay. So he had 23 to Max's 66. So that's not a small... Normally Max is like 90% ruck contests. He gets to all of them. But
all right, get to the end of them because I've got some comments on the big boys.
And then at number 5, I have Luke Ryan in that same matchup. I like it much better as a VC rather than a captain.
Okay.
So if you're happy to roll into an Errol or a Max on the Sunday, I can definitely get behind VCing a Luke Ryan, but I don't think I can get behind putting the straight captaincy on him. To round out the 6 through 10, I have Nick Dacos. He was at the top 5 at some point, but I think they'll spend a little bit of attention. I do think, though, it's going to be like a Caldwell tag. And Caldwell tagged, in quotations, a couple weeks ago, and he got like 12 tackles and 110 plus points. So I think Nick Dacos will laugh at that one. Jordan Clark in the same matchup. Tim English makes his return into the big boys this week against Port. Maxi Holmes makes the top 10 in against Hawthorn, especially if he's playing off halfback. And Josh Dunkley rounds out the top 10 with a solid matchup this week against the Crows. But I think that there are better. What's your feedback for the big boys?
I'm not sure on Maxi Gawn at 2. I don't
think a lot of people will be.
And I don't do all the research that you do and whatnot, but I think there's...
I had Max at like 8 last week, so he was down in my list. So the matchup was tough.
West Coast matchup, I just think it kind of seemed to cruise. But I mean, yeah, we'll see how. The other thing too is what about Sherry? That bloke's going to look at Moily and say, "You're more of a freckle than a Moily."
The data,
he's going to kill that
data
bloke.
Doesn't suggest that he's it's a positive matchup, but it hasn't been like a super positive one in terms of like the Port Adelaide matchup, for example, to get English into my top 10.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a limited sample size thing. It could very well be. I think I'd throw a VC at it. His ceiling, he's not cracked 130 so far this year as well. So his best games have been 120, which is good. Obviously, it's great.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys on the list, maybe save for Max Holmes, have all hit 130, 140 plus. So, whereas he just hasn't done that.
Last one, no Zork. Adelaide matchup, a bit tough.
No. A lot of people, and I know he's high on the Calvinators captains, but one good score, Lockie Whitfield, doesn't make a positive matchup for me.
Okay.
Outside of that pop score for Whitfield last week, there hasn't really been some huge scores against Adelaide. And the Gabba thing, look, it's fine, but I think I saw Jaden Popowski tweet again this today, and I agree with him. Is it just coincidence that they've versed a lot of positive matchups at the Gabba, and some of the teams you go back and look at, it's definitely something to consider. So I had him at number 2 last week in a nice matchup. This week he is not there. Just I think there are better options.
It's good, mate. Dare to be different, and you put your money where your mouth is. So
Flanders, someone's saying in here. Flanders, I don't love the midfield move as much for him.
Against North Melbourne?
Against North Melbourne. They've actually been a tough matchup for mids.
Yeah, interesting.
So, yeah, I'm not going to go there.
Okay, well, let's spend a little bit of time answering some questions then, shall we?
Let's do it. Fire them away, guys. So,
cool. Give me the first question, Michael.
Let's go here. So, someone reckons Sherry that score gone by over 20. That's a nice spicy take. Actually, what the hell, mate? We skipped.
Oh, did we skip El Spicy?
Spicy take. Let's wind back the clock,
my
mate.
Gosh.
Tech difficulties got us rattled. Bring it back
indeed.
over here.
Oh, I feel horrible that I skipped less spicy take, mate. Do you want to lead us off today?
I'll lead us off. I'm going to follow through with... Look, this guy was going to be in my team.
Oh.
But I don't think he's going to be there anymore if Tom Campbell's not going to be there. But my spicy take is that Tim... And this is spicy. Tim English, from now, round 17 to the end of the season, will be the number 1 averaging ruckman for the rest of the season. That's my spicy take. We're going to see the return of 2023 Tim English.
That is spicy because we've had some really good rucks this year. My spicy take is Jai Caldwell goes sub 80 with mid 70% time on ground tonight.
I see what you're doing. Yeah, I see what you're doing. And I won't say anything about it.
I don't want to say it out loud because this is the old Uno reverse-a-roo. So this is what they call in the business.
Well, don't say it because you've also got a curse that you've got to deal with.
Psychology. So I've got the curse, but then the curse is going to be reversed by the spicy take.
Yes.
See how I've done that there?
I see. But now you've just reversed it. But anyway, let's go. Jai Caldwell, he's going big tonight.
Sorry, everyone in advance for ruining Jai Caldwell for you tonight.
Yeah. Well, when you decided to not trade him in 2 weeks ago, he's been absolutely on fire. So.
I'm telling you, it's a real thing.
Yeah. All right, let's answer some questions now. We've got the spicy takes in. And if you have any spicy takes, drop them in the comments below. Would love to hear what you guys have.
Hit me up.
Jordan Clark or Sarong as a trade in?
Sarong.
Who do you think? I think Sarong too.
Yeah, Sarong. I'm glad. I mean, when I say glad, 2 weeks ago I traded in Jordan Clark instead of Caldwell, and I'm not glad that I did that. But this week could be potentially a bit of redemption because that Richmond matchup, hopefully, he's one of the guys that goes nuts.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 options are 1, Zorko and McKercher, 2, Zorko Myers, or 3, Rankin
Myers and Holmes. So are you trading in Rankin, let's say for you, Rankin and Holmes, or are you trading in Zorko and Myers, or are you trading in Zorko and McKercher?
I go Zorko and Myers.
Okay.
Zorko's part of the big 4.
Yeah.
And then Myers is the next group in that tier. I think he and Rankin and those guys are all similar, so that's probably where I'd go.
Beautiful. Taco Chicken, trading Powell or Simpkin to Colby, or are we banking cash with a bench rookie move?
Powell or Simpkin to Colby, or bank cash with a bench rookie move. I'd trade Powell to Colby, I think. What do you think there?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I'm like I said.
Did Powell had a role change or something recently? Like he was playing off half back or something. And I'm assuming this is Tom Powell as well, by the way. Scored 74 last week. Fuck, we can't get excited for 70s.
Not at this time of year.
Enough, no.
Well, let's use this opportunity then to flesh out the McKercher thing, because we kind of parked that.
Yeah.
For a little bit, but like my thinking on McKercher is, it's low break even, it's cheap play, it's pocketing cash, and it's the potential, if the stars align, to have a guy who plays the juiciest role in fantasy, who loves getting pill, and could go mid-90s in that role if he has a monopoly on it. So I know it's not like from where you're at, it's not even like, don't even consider it. Don't worry. If you're top 100, if you're top 1,000 and you're like loving life, don't consider it. But
yeah,
if you're clutching at straws, do you need to do these things?
I've had a few questions this week on Ask Me on Q. Go over to askmeonq.com/the Ball Boys with a similar kind of question where they've got their last rookie on field, but it's very difficult because the rookie's still cheap. Like it's a Billy Dowling or something like that you're trying to get up.
Yeah.
The other thing with those rookies is they also all have low break-evens as well. So if you're trying to get a rookie of that type to a Colby McKercher, I'm not sure that that's a points upgrade. And I'm also more confident that you're not going to make as much cash.
You don't think Billy Dowling you don't think McKercher's a points upgrade?
I don't think it's a guarantee. Like Billy Dowling can score 80s.
He scored 180.
He's played 2 games, so 50% of the time he scores 80s. What do you mean?
You're a big stats. I'm going to call you Papowski, mate. But unbelievable.
He might have played the 3rd game. I don't know.
You can't say that with a straight face.
Well, I'm just saying that it's not a clear upgrade. So
because there's flags, like is that what you're saying?
Because there's flags, because there's the management factor.
Yeah.
Look. My go-to example is look at Will Day. Look at Will Day and what he did when he came back from his stress reaction, and he's the best player on the team. He played 64% time on ground that first game back and had a 47. But if you trade in McKercher and he plays 65% game on time and has a 50,
agreed, trouble.
Fuck, what a waste of trade.
But like to steal a Calvinator phrase, if you're trying to swing from the fences, well, what the fuck does it matter? If I'm
swing from the fences, I want someone with ceiling.
If I'm ranked 2,500, which I am, and I'm like, well, I don't care if I'm ranked 2,500 or 4,000.
Yeah.
But I've got an opportunity to maybe like bank a heap of cash, get a low break even guy, and a guy that can, do mid-90s. In that role,
I've suggested in some of the advice I've given to some of those more specific questions, trying to be a bit more creative with moves like trading a Sam Walsh down to a Sarong, and then trading like a Whitfield down to a Max Holmes or something like that. Keeping a rookie on the field for one more week, banking cash, getting off these popular players that could be tagged this week, and then you've got a big chest of money, and then you've got rookies still going to go up because they're negative break evens.
No, I can.
And doing a proper upgrade next week. Like that's sort of more what I envision in teams that are really struggling to get to that premium, and instead of going to a halfway house, which could score like a rookie anyway.
No, I can get behind that. I think you said that well.
But it's tough because if Colby does come out and score 100, like it's a great trade. I'm just nervous.
And really, you only need a week of it at this time of year, kind
Yeah.
of, don't you? So, yeah. No, it's interesting. It's good discussion.
He's been out for a while.
He has been. Yeah, and the injury you mentioned is not like an injury that's you want to play around
it's not
with.
like you're coming back from a concussion or something like that. It's it's something they'll be very, very, conservative with.
Okay, LDU to Brayshaw for the run.
I tick that off.
Yeah.
It's luxury, but
you could get a sugar hit this week too.
I think he'll be better.
Yeah. Do we prefer McKercher or Dempsey from Adam here?
Dempsey has been playing well.
A couple of tons.
What is he price? 640 with the break even of 35. His role is probably not as good. He did play 95% time on ground last game, which I think is a big tick.
That's fantastic.
I think, yes, because of the line he's in.
So you would go Dempsey over
I would keep
McKercher?
Yeah, I would have Dempsey ahead of McKercher.
All right, cool. Question here from the AFL Fantasy Footy Fever podcast. Going
let's check these out.
Tom Powell to Myers. Okay, could get up to Moore or Rankin. And Fisher to McKercher. Anyone else to target under 600K?
Not anyone that I like.
Yeah.
So, no. I do think that if you're dead set on trading Heath Chapman, maybe. But, no, I couldn't do it. It is probably McKercher. If you're dead set on getting a player in, price under 600,000, it is probably McKercher. It just as you're buying into something with risk.
Yeah. All right, let's go one more question. I am conscious we don't want to cut into Bales' time at the Fantasy Fanatics. We started a little bit late. Let's make it a big boys question to finish. VC Merritt into Sarong. You happy with that?
I love it. Yeah, think it's really good.
Sounds like a winning pick.
Absolutely.
So, quickly shout out Ask Me on Q because there'll be a few people that missed out.
Yeah, plenty of questions. I've been a bit slack on Ask Me on Q this week, so if you have asked a question and I didn't get to it, send it back through and I will get through to them over the weekend. And so go to askmeonq, spelled QU.com/ballboys. Get your question answered. You can do either a team-specific question, send in a big old question, and I believe there might be, I'll have to confirm this, but there might be some ways you can send in some screenshots of your full team so I have more information. Or if you just want a quick trade, this trade or this trade, you can pop them in there and get your advice sent to your email. But that'll do for us for the live show.
Yeah, make sure you jump over now and check out Bales, AFL Fantasy Fanatics. He's going to let you know how we managed to lose to me this week. Bales, the beated.
Oh, I like it. We'll leave on that one there, guys. We'll see you guys after the round is done.
Beat it. I like it. Let's go.
Let's go. I'll see you guys later. Bye.